interestingly, the Pope is coming to South Sudan on a mainly ecumenical mission. So there are efforts by the Anglican Church and a few other non-Catholic churches, together with the Catholic Church, to build peace. The Pope comes in to raise the profile. He himself has been working in the background together with Father Roberto and the Archbishop of Canterbury. He is coming in to give credence to this effort, to lend a profile to this effort for peace. So that's where it begins, that it's ecumenical. Then it's a state visit because he's the head of state. So when he comes, then the state takes over his visit. After the state comes the church. Of course, the Catholic Church has their pastor, their shepherd coming to visit. That's the staggering. And then finally the Jesuits. He has a tradition that when he visits a country, he wants to see the Jesuits in a private meeting, sometimes 1 hour. So that's where we then come in a big way. I had a timetable, a calendar until August. We have had to tweak it to accommodate the visit of the Pope. So I'll have to be in Juba from the 5th to the 7th of July, at the ready, in the ranks with all other priests. But if he gives us this opportunity to see us, I have to be there with some of my men from Eastern Africa to see him, and as companions. You know, a Jesuit, I don't need to remind you that the Pope is a Jesuit, so that he cannot lose. We shall speak Jesuit language. Then he will hear from us how things really are, really are. So those are the dreams we have. So it's quite good for us. South Sudan needs peace. We need to make every effort to support peace. They are marginalized people globally. For example, the war and the unrest in many parts of Africa and the rest of the world have been marginalized by the war. It's all war, Ukraine, but this has marginalized many other wars. But when the Pope comes this side and he addresses things like peace, I think it puts back things in perspective. There is no war more important than any other war, because in the meantime people are dying equally in all wars. Right now, the driving force, the zeitgeist of the Jesuits are 4 universal apostolic preferences, which are accompanying people to finding God through the spiritual exercises and discernment, which is prayer, putting God at the center, then reaching out to the marginalized in the interest of reconciliation and peace, then reaching out to the youth and empowering them, and finally protecting the environment, our Mother Earth. Now, in a situation of lack of peace, all 4 preferences are affected. Why do people fight? Maybe because they are very far away from their faiths, from their beliefs. There is no God that promotes war. So when we come in and the head of the church, of a faith, and in this case it's going to be many faiths coming together, when we come in that way, we are calling people back to prayer and faith in the interest of peace. Then people are displaced. You create marginalized people. In South Sudan itself, you have internally displaced people and people who are from other countries. And South Sudanese themselves have been displaced to neighboring countries. When the Pope comes, we are reaching out to those people that we care about what you are going through. And we are trying to use every means we have to bring you back home safely so that you can lead productive lives. So that's our reaching out to the marginalized, refugees and so on, in this one symbol of a visit. It's in the interest of peace. Young people, this region is gifted with so many young people, but their future is forestalled in a situation of unrest and war. So when the Pope comes and he declares a message of peace, we are reaching out to the young people so that they can begin to dream like other young people elsewhere, about jobs, about making it in life, about education, about traveling to see the world peacefully, not with a small luggage running away from bullets and bombs. And finally, obviously, when you displace people, the environment is not catered for. And sometimes they go into a section and they deplete the environment because they are cutting trees for firewood and shelter. You have these pockets of overpopulated sections of a country. Why? Because they are displaced. They will eat everything in their path, and it's not good for the environment that there be war. Besides saying that some of the, I need to look at the statistics, but the population of elephants, for example, in South Sudan has to be very low. Given the terrain, it looks like elephant country. But someone should check how many elephants are there just to take one species. Why? Because during the war of liberation, people who were displaced and people who were at war needed the elephants as part of their diet. And there was no protection for them. But when there is peace, which the Pope is trying to restore, then we can manage the environment. So yeah, there's a very Jesuit element to this visit. It falls right in the four universal apostolic preferences.